Hi everyone. I hope you guys can hear me. I am doing this course today from my cell phone since I am on the road today. So I just gonna need you guys to message me and let me know if you guys can hear me. And we'll get started. You guys see me okay? Chat. Here's the chat. I can hear you. Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Hi guys. So good to see you. All right. So I'm on the road today. I'm filming a little project out. So today I'm going to take the time to kind of discuss a little bit about how we're healing next step the body. Yesterday we took a look at the structure of the multidimensional body. We talked about the details of the multidimensional body, and we talked about how all that information gets stagnant in the body. And so one of the things that we want to slowly develop and start working on is learning how to work with that information, pushing it through the body in a way where we can gently and organically move and readjust the vibrational frequency of the whole body in a way that it is an environment for this healing, an environment for balance. So it is incredibly important that as we're doing our meditation during these 30 days, that we spend the time in creating that environment. What creates the environment for healing? What is it that actually creates this well-balanced embodiment? Let's talk a little bit about that. In order to create a balanced environment for anything to thrive, for anything to grow, for anything to give life to, we just look at the basic laws of creation of the universe. What are those basic laws? They are the divine feminine and the divine masculine. We live in an entire matrix universe that is designed in the basic law of the divine trinity. Okay, and we see this historically in all kinds of historic records depicting and demonstrating this incredible creation, this formula for creation that is not just theoretical or metaphoric, but literally, biologically, this is how we create life. And so we look to all living beings. We look at animals, we look at plants, we look at leaves, we look at the cycles of how natural energies and chi life force move in the world. For example, wind, for example, water, how the waterways move. Everything is moving in such an elegantly calculated way that there are certain mathematical equations that are defining that kind of creative balance. And all of these things in the natural world are thriving. They come into a state of healing and balance and homeostasis when that balance is met. That means that, let's do an example of a plant. A plant requires the air, a good soil, sun, and water. So there are all these elements as part of their environment that really help this plant survive and thrive. And in the same way, the human body requires these certain elements around us to be in a state of balance and coherence. When we come out of balance or out of alignment with that polarity or with the environment around us, shifting it out of balance, then the body responds to it. And oftentimes it can be very toxic. So we take on these things that are out of balance in our environment. And now let's take it closer to home. We understand epigenetics, right, as the rewriting of our DNA or the editing of our DNA, which is scientifically based in our environment. So everything that is in our environment affects this human organism as a whole. When we have dirty air outside, the body is taking that in, and the body has to adjust in order to create a balance. So it's the same way when we eat toxic foods, the body, the organs have to adjust. Sometimes they suffer because they're processing or over processing these things. Let's take it to the next step. Why somebody would want to eat toxic foods? Maybe they're stressed out. Maybe they feel afraid or they feel unsafe in their environment. And so the food is like the comfort and the sugar that they eat in order to make them feel comfortable. And so looking at all these imbalance, what ends up happening is it ends up being a chain of imbalanced events. And so ultimately, the body ends up being completely out of balance. So this kind of awareness of where the imbalances are in your life are imperative to understand what's causing the illness, what's causing the things to come out of balance, whether they are emotional, physical, psychological, and environmentally, right? So we're energetic beings and we function like sponges. Usually we are absorbing everything around us, and the majority of you that are here with me, we're empathic. So we can feel, there's a truck going by. So those of you that are empathic, more so, can feel the energies around you in a very sensitive, delicate manner. For example, myself, when I come into an environment that's very toxic, I immediately respond. My body responds. My gut starts to speak to me. I start to get anxiety. All of these things in my early journey, I realized that would be things that would propel me to go down cycles of toxic behavior. I would come into survival mode. I would respond to that survival mode with things that made me feel temporarily comfortable. And so this is how we go down that cycle of toxic behavior. So in today's course, I want to talk about how we can become aware of the things that are causing deep imbalances, emotionally, physically, energetically, all 360 degrees around your entire organism. So for today and tomorrow, I want you to focus on those things. I want you to begin to identify what are those things that cause you anxiety, fear. I want you to sit with your environment, and we're going to work on that right now. I want you to sit with your environment, the people, places, and things that you share space with, and notice if you feel more triggered with one person than you do with another, and begin to understand why that is. What are those triggers that come up? This is the meat and potatoes, per se, of the information that we want to work on and what will help us rebalance those imbalances. Over time, what you're going to notice is that a lot of these imbalanced interactions that we have with our environment and with people, there is always the law that there is an imbalance between the two creative life forces of feminine energy and masculine energy. And within the first ages of our lives, when we come into birth, when we come into this life, up until the age of 7, we are very heavily programmed with belief systems, and we learned certain behaviors that we're learning from our parents, our mother, and our father, and of course our siblings and all the people that are participate in the upbringing of ourselves during childhood. But the ones that will have the biggest impact are the mother and the father, which represent the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Their behaviors or lack of certain aspects or places where we had certain expectations are going to be the definition of how you see and how you relate to the masculine energy and the feminine energy and the expression of those energies in your life. So if we have, for example, a father that was more absent, less emotional, less caring and nurturing for us, supportive and protective, our perception of the divine masculine will be based on that experience. It's also going to be based on the way that you look at your own masculine within you. Okay? So for example, if you have a certain problem with your ability to be expressive and come into a state of powerful empowerment and creation, you might feel, as a woman, this example, that you can't really expand yourself in that direction because you feel that you don't have the tools to embody an empowered and protective masculine aspect for yourself in difficult environments and for those that are around you, because we didn't learn that. We didn't learn it energetically, we didn't learn it emotionally, and we didn't learn it by example. And so, as you know, the body is like a multidimensional sponge that is responding to the things around us. We take in information and it's recorded in the body in more ways than one. Okay? So we begin to notice how we record these imbalanced perceptions. And so what we want to do in healing is to revisit those perceptions that we have of those imbalances, because those are the ones that result in a lot of emotional turmoil oftentimes. Okay? So what I want to do with you today is I want to take you into a meditation in which you are going through, we're just going to look at the past week, okay? I want you to take a look at all of the things that have caused you triggers, but I want you to notice the things that take you out of balance. And I want you to notice who are the people, places, and things that cause those triggers. And I want you to notice how you respond to them. What part of you feels that it wants to respond? I want you to identify what part of you feels vulnerable in that situation. And I want you to speak to the feminine and masculine aspect of yourself. I'm going to post on the blog a definition of the divine feminine and masculine. Okay? I want you to look at both of those aspects. There are certain traits that are very particular to this feminine energy. Feminine energy is nurturing, it is intuitive, it is safe, it is caring, it is loving. It's supposed to be that part of the unconditional love that supports this emotional aspect. The masculine represents movement, action. So when any of these two categories are out of alignment with one of those aspects, that's where we start to fall and we can't embody that balance. Ultimately, for healing, we want to be able to balance those two expressions. On the physical side, what happens when we don't embody this balance? The body begins to show it, and we kind of saw that yesterday in our meditation, right? We identified what part of the body is holding on to the majority of the imbalances. So you should know that in your body today. That's what I want to work on. So if you guys want to jot down in the chat below, let me know what part of your body is mostly affected. And for whichever side is mostly affected, I want you to provide yourself the support. Today in the meditation, we're going to identify what it is that that part needs in order to become complete and full. Okay? Do I have any questions? Let me go to the questions before we get started. Let's see. I'm going to have to turn my head here, guys. Work with me. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Anybody else have comments, questions? If you can point in there, put down there what parts of your body, and if it's the center point, just notice, for example, the throat is the part that manages both of those, okay? It's the feminine and masculine. When we have really, really embodied imbalances in those energies, it really shows up here. We have problems with our glands, with the endocrine system, okay? We have throat issues. So just notice. A lot of us have this problem with the throat, both men and women, when we are unable to communicate as children, when we're told that we're unworthy of expressing our, whatever we want to authentically express. Perfect. Masculine side. Sexual organs. Fantastic. And so for the sexual organs, I want you to notice what side of the body is more affected. For the men, look at the testicles. For the woman, the ovaries, because they tell you a lot about what this stagnation, who it's connected to in your family, and the archetype that we're moving through. Okay, I see a lot of problems with sisters, mothers, family members that are on the maternal, matriarchal side, usually in the hips and then the sexual organs for the women. So go ahead and see what that is. Okay, I'm just going to read this chat. Perfect. Right. Okay. All right, my loves. Okay. So we're going to take a look now Thank you for your message. That's amazing. Okay, so let's dive into it. I want you to get a really nice and comfortable space. I'm going to ask you to bear with me with the sounds that are around me, but if you can focus fully on your body for this practice. We're going to start by inhaling deeply and exhaling. You're going to ground yourself down to the center of the earth. I want you to visualize the core of the planet, and you're going to create a cord that connects underneath your breast line, your chest, your waist, your hips, the pelvic bone, all the way down to the center of the earth. I want you to anchor yourself really nice and solid. Inhaling deeply and exhale. You're going to visualize your protective field around your body. Making sure there are no openings. The openings that you have in your energetic space are also communication for you to know the sides of the body, feminine and masculine, which one is more affected. If you have most of your problems on the right side, oftentimes you'll find that usually the right side is the one that is less protected. You'll see openings, cracks. So close them, close them. We're going to start by bringing in a green, powerful energy in from the center of the earth. It's going to come rushing up into the center core, creating a vortex of energy at the center core. Breathing in, inhaling, breathing in that very powerful earth healing energy. From the universe, from source, I want you to pull down a powerful wave of gold energy that's going to come down to the crown of your head, down your spine, combining with that green earth energy. Breathing deeply, inhaling, exhale, using your breath to direct that life force energy through your body. You're going to take 10% of this combination back down to the center of the earth, releasing, eliminating anything that you're going to clear in your body goes down that channel. Go back to your solar plexus. You're going to take 80% of that combination up your spine, and from the crown of your head, you're going to coat the outside of your protective field. Push out of the body any stagnation, any heaviness, any imbalances in the body. Push it out to the crown of your head. So now you have two channels of elimination. Whatever you identify that needs to be released, you're going to send it down to the center of the earth, or you're going to send it out to the crown of your head. Go back to your solar plexus. You're going to take that final pure 10% up your spine, down your arms. You're going to fill the inside of your body. I want you to visualize covering your entire physical body with that green and gold, earth, and cosmic life force energy. You're going to penetrate the pores into the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level of the body. Inhale deeply and exhale. Release. Push down everything that doesn't belong in the body. Bring your body into a state of complete neutrality. And we're going to begin. This is called running energy. So feel the energy moving through your body. Okay. And I want you to start to notice. You're going to first pay attention to the side of your body that needs more attention. Go ahead and take your attention to that side. Okay, becoming aware of that side. I just want you to take your attention to the body. You're just going to communicate with the body, starting at the toes, going up to the side of the body, up to the crown of the head, just waking it up, becoming aware of itself. You're going to do the same thing with the other side of your body, waking it up, starting at the toes, going up to the crown of the head. I want you to focus on the side of your body that is less affected or less out of balance, that you feel does not show up all those physical imbalances. What side is that? I want you to identify it. Is it the feminine or the masculine for you? What is it? Just notice that. And I want you to connect to this side. I want you to ask to be shown this life force energy. So if it's the masculine, you're going to ask for that masculine side of you to present itself in front of you in a form, to give itself a shape. I want you to see, what does it look like? Take a look at it. And as you see this masculine side of you, or whatever side it is that you saw is less affected, I want you to identify its form, its shape that it gives you. And I want you to identify, what is it that it needs, this part of you, this aspect of you, this creative aspect of you, in order to come into its full potential, into its full balance potential. Tap into that. See what it says. Notice if this image of this aspect of yourself is damaged in any way. Does it have any injuries? Does it have any marks on it? Or is it big, shiny, whole? Is it small? Notice the size of it. Notice its physical features. Is it more appealing to you or less appealing? Allow yourself to intuitively read what it's communicating to you. It can be subtle communication that's not necessarily visual, but you can feel it, hear it, sense it, know it. Just tap into all your senses as you communicate. So now I want you to go to your more wounded side. Right next to that balanced side, go ahead and visualize the wounded side. What does it look like? See it before you. What shape is it? Does it have a sex? Is it different than the other? Is it large, small? Is it damaged in any way? Take a look at that. Visualize that. So as you look at these two aspects of yourself, I want you to notice the difference that you see within them. You are creating a visual from all the information that your body is feeding into this image of how you perceive the feminine and masculine aspect of yourself. The sex of this being says something, the shape, the size, it's communicating to you our relationship with this aspect of yourself. So I want you to connect with them individually. And I want you to tap into what is it that they need. Observe them, tap into that. You are looking at yourself in front of you. What parts of these separate beings, what do they need in order to come into their fullest expression? Go ahead and observe. I want you to sense it with your body. And what you're going to notice is that the part of the body that is affected the most will it'll come up. It'll make itself known. As you go through this process, as you identify what is needed in these beings that you have in front of you, you are also looking at the part of you that requires the healing. So go ahead and take a look at them and identify what is it that they need in order to come into their fullest, highest expression. Okay, identify that, see it now. So for example, if your feminine looks frail, thin, short, damaged, small, crouching over, what does she need in order to come into her full expression? If your masculine feels smaller, shorter, disempowered, what does it need to come into it? And I also want you to identify what would be the appropriate size for both of them. Okay. So you're identifying how much of you need to input in these aspects, how much energy you need to put in to the balancing, the rebalancing of these aspects of yourself. So go ahead and see that. And in a moment, we're going to focus on the physical aspect in order to provide healing to the physical parts of these visualizations. Okay, so go ahead and provide those two aspects exactly what they need. And I want you to allow them to absorb all of that healing that they require. Whatever it is that they need, I want you to give it to them. You can use color, you can use sound, you can use your intention, your feeling. Visualize providing both of these aspects equally, exactly what they need. And I want you to see how they change. Observe. Take a look at them. I want you to notice the parts of their bodies that are out of alignment as well. This is where you're going to be focusing that healing attention. Okay. I want you to take your attention now to your body. Let's go back to the physical aspect of ourselves. I want you to notice what parts of the body are being affected by these imbalances. And I want you to take your attention to one of those parts. And the same thing that you gave this being on that side, I want you to give to that part of your body. Okay? So I want you to bring it in, either if it's a frequency, a color, a word, an emotion, whatever it is, I want you to focus it on that space in your body. And I want you to heal it. I want you to allow your body to absorb that part. And a lot of times what you're going to pick up here is memories of things that are stagnant here. So you're going to get information on how this began, who's involved in the creation of this experience, this emotion, places, all of these kinds of memories that are stored within the muscle may come up to you. So go ahead and notice what emotions, what memories come up. Just observe them. You don't need to respond to them. I just want you to observe them. Okay. You're gonna let go of all of those memories that you pulled out, all of those emotions. It's not necessary to relive them or revisit them now. I want you to visualize that you're clearing your space, 7 bodies in, 7 bodies out, all charges down to 0 in the multidimensional body. You're gonna let that all go, all that charge, send it down to the center of the earth. Okay, you're gonna send it down through your grounding cord. And just notice what has changed, what has shifted. This is a really powerful healing when there are emotional problems in families, within friends, within relationships. This is a very powerful way to heal the body. Okay. So I want you to take your attention to the next part of the body that felt affected, and you're going to start working there. So go ahead. If you feel you have a lot to release in that part of the body, once again, you're going to create your vortex. Okay? This vortex that is connected to source, you're just going to direct that energy into that space. Make sure it's not just going out all over in your home or wherever you are doing this healing. Use your intention to direct where that energy goes. As healers, we have a responsibility to work with the energies that we are moving through the body. Okay? So we're utilizing this intention to move it gently to where it needs to go out of the body. Okay? And you're pulling in that healing energy into the space that needs the healing. So go ahead and focus that healing and provide it with all the healing it takes. Imagine that you have created a cave or an opening where you have removed something old and you're going to replace it with this new understanding, with this healing. Go ahead and feel that now in the body. Now that you've done that, I want you to check in with your body. Go ahead and observe, how do these two sides feel, the feminine and masculine aspect. Is there anything missing? You might have more spaces in the part of your body that require healing. I want you to continue this practice daily. Okay? There's a lot that you're going to learn from this practice, a lot of information that is within the body available for you to work with. So check in with the two sides and notice if there are any imbalances still. I want you to go to where those imbalances are, and I want you to rebalance them. Provide what is needed in order to create the balance in the body. Very good. So yesterday we worked with the pillars, the structure of light that works through the body. Today, I want you to notice and become aware of the two other pillars of energy that move through the body. They are the feminine and masculine energy. So what I want you to do is I want you to visualize these little poles of light that connect up to source that go on both either sides of the body, through the body, all the way down through the legs, down to the center of the earth. I want you to check in with those poles of light, and if they are fragmented, broken, shattered, twisted, out of place, I want you to bring them back into alignment right at the sides of the body. And use your intuition to identify what they need in order to become solid pillars of light through the body. Go ahead and tap into that. Oftentimes, what you'll find is part of the organ or the part of the body that has stagnation or blockages, that will be where these pillars of light are shattered. Okay, so go ahead and tap in and recreate. You can immediately heal it and bring it back into state. You don't need to go into all that information. All you have to do is replace and heal that. Okay, you can revisit the information later, but for now, create those pillars. You're going to feel the pillars going down through the centers of the feet. Okay, the centers of the feet going down into the earth. This is a fantastic practice for you in balancing positive and negative charges of the body. This is also a great practice for you to come into the present moment, just like grounding is. But you're adding an enforced, it's like an extra help at balancing our perception. Okay, so by now you've learned many different techniques. This is one more, as well as chakra balancing, center core structure, light, and your polarity, the feminine and masculine energies of the body. Go ahead and send those cords down to the center of the earth. Excellent. Okay, so the chakras as well have this polarity, right? And it has to do with the information that's there. We're going to work deeper with the chakras in the next week. But for now, I want you to focus on the root chakra. You're going to spin it as fast as possible until it's crystalline red. Crystalline ruby red. Both sides of the chakra, front and back, spin it, aligning it, bringing it back into a balanced state. Then go up to the sacral chakra, spin it as fast as possible, releasing any stagnation out of the body until it's crystalline orange, citrine, or like an amber. Inhale deeply and exhale. You're going to go up to the solar plexus, spinning it as fast as possible. until it's crystalline yellow. Going up into the heart chakra. Okay, balancing it, putting it back into a balanced state, spinning it as fast as possible until it's crystalline green. Emerald green, front and back of your body, bringing it back into a balanced state. You're going to go up to the throat chakra, spin it as fast as possible. Get all that gunk out. We don't need to be carrying that with us throughout our day. You're going to go up to the third eye, same thing, clear it out. Excellent, excellent. You're going to go up to your crown chakra. I want you to fill that in with your creative color. We're going to fill in the intention in different aspects of our life. We're going to start with intellect. Fill it in. Emotions. Fill it in. Setting the intention that all our emotions are in alignment with our highest, most balanced expression. Relationships. Fill that in. Abundance, money, exchange, creative life force. Fill that in. Spirituality, the spirit and the soul. Fill that in. And finally, your purpose. What are you here to do? Setting the intention that from this moment on, every action, every word that you speak, your vibrational frequency is in alignment with your highest expression and what you're here to do. Awesome. I want you to bring yourself back into the room gently, and I want you to open your eyes, and with your eyes open, I want you to continue to see and feel the body, feel the feminine aspect, feel the masculine aspect. I want you to notice what shifted from the beginning of this meditation, okay? And a lot of times what you'll notice is that you definitely feel more empowered, more focused, more grounded, more emotionally balanced. This is the kind of environment that we need for healing. So as much as you can throughout your day, bring yourself into this state. Be aware. Try to maintain this. Owning your space, aware of the things that are outside, the things that you need to engage with, and things that you don't need to engage with. Okay? So I want to thank you guys so much for joining me again today. Does anyone have any questions that I can answer? I'm going to go to the Q&A now. I'm going to try to read your questions. I'm going to turn my head to the side and see if there are any questions here. And I just want you to have a dialogue, open dialogue with the feminine and masculine aspect of you. You're going to learn a lot about yourself as you continue to work on this practice. This practice is not a one-time thing, it's constant. Identify throughout your day, what are the things that cause those triggers? What take you out of alignment? Okay? I invite you to do that. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Monica. All right, my loves. Anyone else have any questions? So I wanted to answer some questions about our portal on the website. If you guys need to access the archive, last night I sent out another email to everyone in order for them to have access to the challenge. So if you don't have access to that, it's available to everyone. All you have to do is sign in to the website, and you're going to have access to all of the archive for the challenge. Sign into the website, go to the challenge on the menu, and when you enter the challenge, you'll just press join, and it's free. There's no cost because you've already paid for it, and you're going to have access to the whole list of videos for replay, and also a little extra homework that I put in there for you. You're also going to find a page with gifts that I have for you, which are really useful tools that you can use throughout your day, and information like charts and stuff like that that are fun to look through. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys have an incredible day, and I love you so much. Bye-bye. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. You guys did amazing. Thank you.